What's up, guys? Mr. Fit to Flourish, and today I wanted to talk about how to use trends when you're trading. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty quick video, but let's get right into it. So I'm going to show my screen here, and as we know, the markets have been ripping, and the main thing that's going to tell you where a trend is going to go is going to be market sentiment. So you got to really think about what's going on in the markets. And lately, we've had mostly tariffs are controlling the markets. These tariff news. Before tariffs, last year and the year before, 2023 and 2024, it was AI and advents in AI and AI companies that were kind of running the markets and causing a lot of major assets to fly. So Nvidia was just ripping. We saw Avgo ripping a couple years ago. Like some of these stocks went 300 to 400%. And then we had Bitcoin running the markets back then too. Bitcoin still kind of is a big player, but really Bitcoin is relying on what's going on with these tariffs in the US. Okay, so right now tariffs is what's going on, and what caused the markets to come down. And I'm going to show you here what happened here is we had this massive downtrend. Okay, massive downtrend, which came off of just horrible tariff news. Like people were scared that there was going to be so much cost, a lot of exponentially rising costs as it relates to goods, exported goods, and imported goods as well. But right now we have Trump making deals with all these countries, so we're seeing that with the U.S. making deals with these companies or countries, we're getting an upward move. We're getting a move back to the upside. All right. So why do trends matter? The reason trends matter is because you want to trade with the trend. The trend is your friend. That's what you'll hear a lot of traders say is the trend is your friend. Well, why is it your friend? Because if we're moving up for the majority of the time, so this is on the 2 hour time frame, and if I go to the daily time frame, you can see a majority of days we're just moving up. All right, and we got a lot of green candles, and we're just basically moving up. So that means that 9 times out of 10, if you put on a trade and you get, we trade options. So if you get calls betting that the market's going up, you're going to be right 9 times out of 10. Okay. But if you're trying to fade, basically meaning you're trying to go against the trend, if you're trying to get puts, you're going to get cooked 9 times out of 10. So that's why it's important. You need to follow the trend, because look how many times the market is moving up in these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days. We've been moving up pretty much forever. Okay, so if we're in this uptrend, with Nvidia at least, if we're in this uptrend, then you want to be looking for longs. You want to be looking to go long. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about with trends is, all right, not only do you need to know market sentiment, and you need to know, is the market moving up and is the market moving down in order to put on really educated trades. You want to know how to draw trend lines and trend channels. Okay, so let's talk about both of them. First, trend lines. So in an uptrend, you draw a trend line by connecting two low points, two extremes of lows, two low extremes. Okay, and in TradingView, you just go to this tool here and you basically connect those two lines, and you just kind of extend it pretty much forever. Okay, and what I like to do is I try to touch as many points. Not only do I get like to connect these 2 points, but I also try to touch some other points there to make it more legit. Okay, so that's what's called a trend line. Now a channel line is the opposite of a trend line. So in an uptrend, you draw the trend line on the bottom. So this is the trend line on the bottom. And then if you draw a line connecting 2 points at the top, that would be considered a channel line. Okay, in an uptrend channel line. All right, channel line. But in a downtrend, and again, what is an uptrend? An uptrend is when you're making higher highs and then higher lows. So this low and then this low and then this high and this high. So we're getting higher highs, higher lows. But in a downtrend, we're getting lower highs and lower lows. So we go from here, and you could basically kind of connect these extremes. Again, it's connecting two extremes, and there's a ton of different ways you can draw it. Some people like to connect the wicks. Some people like to connect the wicks and trend lines and try to tap as much things as possible. I do a mix of both, just whatever makes more sense for the trend. So in a downtrend, the trend line is drawn from the top. So this is the trend line. And then again, your channel line would be drawn from the bottom. All right, so enough of that. Now let's draw a trend channel. All right, so a trend channel is basically, again, connecting two low extremes. and two high extremes. Okay, and pretty much capturing the entire trend upward by enclosing it in pretty much a rectangle. So what do I mean by that? Go over here, go to parallel channel, connect those 2 points, so that point onward, and then connect all the highs and all the lows in a trend. Okay, so that would be how you basically draw your trend channel. Okay, so the way that you know that the trend may change is if we break our trend line, if we break below the trend line. Okay, so if we break below this trend line on NVIDIA, we're probably going to, we're breaking the trend, so we're probably going to get a big downward move, also known as a retracement. All right, but if we're in a downtrend, so let's say we're in a downtrend, whoops, boom and a boom, let's grab this line. We're in a downtrend, and then all of a sudden, we get some deviation, we break above that trend. Well, we're probably going to do something that's going to go in the opposite direction. So we were in this downtrend, and then we ended up breaking, coming back down. We hit a double bottom, and then boom, now we're ripping away from this trend, which means that we're probably going to go into an uptrend, right? So pretty short video there today on, hey, what are trends? How to use trend lines? How to draw trend lines? What's a trend line? What's a trend channel? And how to draw parallel channels, because I get a lot of questions on that. But you basically connect just 2 low extremes, and then from there you need to start charting, because you can do it a ton of different ways. You can do it with the absolute lows, with the wicks, with the bodies, with the wicks and bodies. You could do it a ton of different ways, but basically the general rule of thumb is connecting 2 extremes from the low for the or the highs, and you can kind of play the video back for more. Anyway, it's your boy Mr. Fit to Flourish, and I'm out of here. Good morning, welcome to the Fit to Flourish podcast. Let's talk wellness, finance, and growth.